It all started on a quiet Sunday afternoon, the kind of day where the sun is soft, the breeze gentle, and time feels slower. In a small town where nothing dramatic ever seemed to happen, 7-year-old Liam was playing at the park near his house, chasing dandelions, climbing the jungle gym, and racing imaginary monsters. His mom, Julia, sat nearby on a bench, sipping coffee, scrolling through her phone, glancing up every few seconds to make sure he was safe. The park was mostly empty that day. Just Liam, a few squirrels, and the birds hopping near the picnic tables. But then Liam stopped. He saw someone across the park. An old man. He looked out of place, confused even. Dressed in worn slacks, button-up shirt, suspenders, walking slowly with a wooden cane. His eyes scanned the area like he wasn't sure where he was. Liam, curious by nature and kind by heart, watched the man. Something about him felt off. He wasn't walking with confidence. He didn't have anyone with him. The man turned in slow circles, mumbling to himself. Liam, still holding a juice box in one hand, walked up to him. "Are you okay, mister?" The old man looked down, startled, then blinked like he hadn't even noticed the boy approach. I think I took a wrong turn," he said, voice shaky. "I was trying to get back to the place with the pond. The ducks." Liam nodded. "That's the other side of the park. I can show you." The man looked hesitant. "I don't want to trouble you." "It's okay," Liam said with a big smile. "I come here all the time." So there they went, Liam leading, the old man shuffling behind. Julia saw her son walking with a stranger and stood up immediately. But when she reached them, she paused. The man looked harmless, lost. Liam turned. "Mom, this is Mr." The man smiled faintly. "You can call me Walter." "He got lost. We're helping him find the duck pond." Julia offered a cautious smile. "Would you like me to call someone for you?" Walter shook his head. "I think I just got turned around. I've been here before. I used to walk these trails every Sunday, but things change when you get older." Julia offered to walk with them. Together they guided Walter across the grass and down the curved trail toward the pond, where the ducks splashed and the air smelled like wet leaves. Walter relaxed. His shoulders dropped. His smile became genuine. He sat on a bench, staring at the water. "Thank you. I don't usually get this mixed up, but today I think I just forgot." Julia frowned gently. "Do you have someone we can call? Family?" Walter pulled a small card from his pocket. "This has my address. I don't have a phone, but thank you for being kind." He turned to Liam. "You've got a good heart, young man." Liam beamed. Walter stood slowly, tipping his hat. "I'll be all right from here." They watched him shuffle down the trail, disappearing between the trees. That night, as Julia tucked Liam into bed, he asked, "Mom, do you think Mr. Walter is lonely?" Julia paused. "Maybe, but you made his day better." Liam smiled sleepily. He looked like someone who needed a friend. The next morning started just like any other. Julia made coffee, fed the cat, packed Liam's lunch. He sat at the kitchen table, swinging his legs, munching on toast, talking about school, how he hoped today they'd get extra recess. Neither of them mentioned the old man. Until a knock came at the front door. It wasn't loud or urgent, just steady, deliberate. Julia glanced at the clock. 8:17 a.m. Too early for mail, too late for a neighbor. She opened the door cautiously and froze. Standing there was Walter, but not like before. He wasn't lost. He wasn't confused. He was dressed differently, cleaner, straighter posture. His eyes were sharper, brighter. Behind him, parked by the curb, was a black car. Not new, but sleek, with tinted windows. In his hands was a large envelope. "Good morning," he said with a kind smile. "I'm sorry to just show up like this. I hope it's not too early." Julia, still stunned, stepped aside. "Of course. Come in." Walter entered slowly, careful with his steps, and Liam's face lit up the moment he saw him. "Mr. Walter." Walter chuckled. "Hello, young man. You kept your promise. You showed me kindness. Now it's my turn." He handed the envelope to Julia. She opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a handwritten letter and a set of documents. Her eyes scanned the pages, her jaw slowly dropping. I don't understand," she whispered. Walter sat down carefully. "Let me explain. My name is Walter Kingsley. I wasn't entirely truthful yesterday. I wasn't just lost. I was testing something. Or rather, someone." Julia stared at him, stunned. "Testing what?" "Human decency," he said, with a quiet smile. "You see, I have no family, no children, no siblings. I'm alone. My wife passed many years ago, and lately I've been thinking about what happens after I'm gone. Not the money, not the house, but the meaning. What will be left behind?" Julia's hands shook slightly as she flipped through the documents. A trust, a transfer of ownership, a letter of legal intent. "I've built a lot in my life," Walter continued. "I ran businesses, I owned property, I invested in things people told me would fail. I lived simply, but I lived well. And when I met Liam, when I saw how he treated a stranger, without question, without hesitation, I saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Hope." He turned to Liam, who was now sitting frozen, eyes wide. "You reminded me of myself," Walter said softly. "And so I made a decision. I want to leave a piece of what I built to you, not out of charity, but because you earned it." Julia blinked rapidly, trying to find the words. "Mr. Kingsley, this is too much." Walter smiled gently. "No, it's just right." In the days that followed, everything moved fast. Lawyers, phone calls, bank meetings. Walter's documents were real, ironclad, legally binding. He wasn't just offering money, he was offering opportunity. A college fund for Liam, a down payment on a new house for Julia, a monthly stipend to help them live without the weight of scraping by. And all of it Every last part was because of a little boy who stopped to help a stranger find the duck pond. Word spread quickly. The neighbors didn't believe it at first. People whispered, some congratulated, some questioned. But no one understood the full truth. Because the gift Walter gave wasn't just financial. It was transformational. Weeks passed. Walter became a regular visitor. Every Thursday afternoon, he'd stop by the modest house with the creaky porch and sit with Julia and Liam over lemonade or tea. Sometimes he brought cookies. Other times, old photographs or stories from a world Liam had never known. Rotary phones, war rations, dances in town squares. And Liam listened like the stories were magic. To him, Walter wasn't just a kind old man anymore. He was a time traveler, a mentor, a grandfather he never had. One afternoon, as Liam helped Walter tend to a small tomato plant in their backyard, he asked, "Why me?" Walter didn't answer right away. He carefully dug his fingers into the dirt, placing the roots gently. Then he said, "Because you saw me when no one else did." Liam frowned. "But you were right there." Walter smiled. "Most people only look at what's in front of them. You looked a little deeper." Liam didn't quite understand, but something about it felt important. That fall, Julia moved them into a new house. Nothing extravagant, just a little bigger, a little brighter, with room for Liam to grow. It had a backyard with a tree house, and for the first time in her adult life, Julia didn't have to worry if the groceries would last until payday. She cried the first night she tucked Liam in, because for once the air didn't feel heavy. Walter had given them more than money. He had given them freedom. But even beautiful chapters come to an end. One chilly December morning, Julia found a sealed envelope at her door. No stamp, no name, just her address. Inside was a letter, written in Walter's familiar hand. "My dear friends, if you're reading this, then I have already gone. Don't mourn me. I've lived a full life, longer and richer than I ever dreamed. What you gave me in these past few months is more valuable than anything I ever owned. You gave me peace, laughter, a reason to believe that the world hasn't forgotten kindness. Liam, you reminded me of the boy I once was. I hope you grow into a man who continues to lead with heart, not fear. Julia, thank you for trusting me. You didn't have to, but you did, and that changed everything. I've left one last surprise, a box buried beneath the oak tree near the duck pond. You'll know it when you see it. All my love, Walter." They went to the park together. Julia, Liam, and a small group of neighbors who had come to care about Walter in his final days. Beneath the oak tree, just where Walter said, they found it. A wooden box, sealed but not locked. Inside were a worn photo of a young Walter in uniform, standing beside a woman with dark eyes and a soft smile. A journal filled with handwritten entries, a memoir of his life from boyhood through war and business and loss. A letter addressed to Liam, and a small velvet box. Inside the velvet box was a ring, a simple gold band with a green stone set in the middle. The note with it read, "This ring was my father's. He wore it through the Great Depression, the war, and every hardship he ever faced. It reminded him, and later me, that everything passes. That strength comes from within. I never had a son to pass it to, until now. Liam held the ring in his small fingers, tears brimming in his eyes. Julia knelt beside him, holding him close. He chose you, baby. You gave him light. You gave him a reason to believe again. The community planted a tree in Walter's memory by the pond. They placed a small bench there, with a plaque that read, "To the man who taught us that kindness can echo forever." Years passed. Liam grew up. He never took the ring off, not even once. He carried Walter's journal with him when he applied to college, the first in his family. He brought it to every major moment in his life. And one day, when asked at a university interview what moment defined his values, he didn't hesitate. "I helped an old man find the duck pond." The interviewer blinked, and Liam smiled. Kindness is never small. You don't know what battles people are fighting. You don't know what doors you're unlocking just by showing someone care. That's the thing about true kindness. It asks for nothing, and sometimes it gives you everything.